yet again. This is the second time we've done this. So hello everyone and welcome back to the second attempt at this. This time the server's up, so this time I might not get disconnected and the game might not get stuck. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we are here and we are live and just waiting for some other people to join. It looks like some other drivers are also temporarily struggling to get in, so we should just hold a few minutes again. But hopefully everyone is having a good day as well. So, whilst we're just waiting for everyone to go, we'll talk about this beautiful circuit as well. Of course, the Bahrain International Circuit first opened, of course, back in 2004, won by Michael Schumacher on that occasion. Of course, since then it's raced at, well, 3 different versions of the circuit. Of course, the one we all know today, which is the 15-corner circuit, the endurance layout, which of course ran in 2010. We've got the outer circuit, which ran of course last year, and of course, well, the original one, which we all know and love. And I've got the question is, what is your favourite circuit to all the drivers? And to be fair, everyone in the chat as well, what is your favourite version of this circuit? Of course, I've got to say the normal layout we see today, and we're going to be racing on today, is probably my favourite. Of course, the outer layout, the second favourite, and the endurance layout we don't talk about. But let's see what everyone else has to say about that one as well. Hopefully, of course, you're all having a good day. And then there we go, we're getting into the lobby as well. So that's good. We're getting ready to go in just a few moments' time then as well. Whilst I just go and try and get a few little bits up as well in the background. So I do apologise, by the way, if I'm not speaking as constantly. Of course, I'm having just a few technical issues on my side of things as well. We'll be getting, hopefully, as well. We might be joined by a co-commentator later on as well, which could always be very good indeed, as I get all your comments up in the background as well. And here we are then, in Bahrain. We finally got into the lobby. It may have taken us a few moments to get into the lobby, but we are right there as well, as the game decided it wants to be very loud, so I'm going to turn that down, because it decided the game wanted to reset everything. So let's turn that all the way down to 5, so I don't absolutely deafen everyone there, and hopefully everyone can hear me properly now, which is always good. Some minor issues. But we've got them all sold right now. It's getting ready. The first drivers to come out on circuit as well. And let's see who we've got potentially. Everyone just getting the setups enabled. Everyone just getting out on circuit. We have got one of Lee Williams, I believe, on circuit. And we've got also, I think, someone else. It might be Mr. Poxy, who's currently on circuit in the Alpine then, who's currently on circuit. As we go around the circle on our first flying lap, well, the first out lap of this F6 season on board then. With Poxy, his teammate Mika in 14th in the pit lane right now, as all the cars start streaming out the pit lane on the mini-map. So, who have we got for a win today? Well, new season, new challenges. Right now, though, we can never say never. We've got a lot of drivers on alternative strategies, quite a few on mediums, quite a few on softs. 60 minutes of qualifying as well. We've got people saying Harry potentially for the win today, which could be very interesting indeed. Harry currently, where is he on the circuit? He's somewhere. I'm not remembering exactly their names of the driver, but he's somewhere around here. We've got Sharon down there in the Ferrari on circuit as well, driving, of course, in Kappa Ackerman's helmet, as well as the engine notes start to rise. A few people still joining the server as well. There's Harry down in 18 for the McLaren. Whilst we're getting ready then for our first flying lap, this will be from Mr. Poxy as well, so we might as well run on board with it then as we go down the straight then. Coming up to about 205 miles an hour, chuck it into the right hand, led down into second gear, front end slightly wayward there as you build up the revs into 4th, up into 5th gear, then up into 6th, then using the second, technically the second DRS, but the first one technically on this circuit, down into turn number 4, nice long right-hander. Build the revs up then as you come down into 5, 6 and 7, and this complex extremely challenging. If the car wants to swap ends of you are having a monster of an accident. Once out getting on the curb on the right, that will spit you heavily into the left as you head into turn 8. Now build up over the crest, then down into the blind 9 and 10 complex. Don't snag a break down here as you chuck it in there. Car trying to over-rotate as you get it nice and smooth there from the Alpine then. As then we head down to the second DRS straight down towards turn 11 and 12. And now just spot your braking zone, use all the road on the exit for good measure. And then run yourself all the way up the hill then into this flat winding section where the car just wants to end up getting high on you. But the car just keeping balance on this lap. Play down into 13, then back down, up and down the hill like a roller coaster towards the last corner. Let's see what Mr. Pop can do then. And let's see into the last corner, drops it down into turn 14, into turn 15S right there as well. With pretty much a 14 corner track. And across the line, and first lap time, and he's going to be a 1:24.8. Next to cross the line will be, I believe it will be Nino then. Coming down towards the last corner, coming to 15 and 16. Let's see what he can do as well then. Through the last corner he comes, the car wanting to swap ends. You can see the front end twitching all he likes. He gets it invalidated as well. And that is his lap time over. What about Ceremon then? He comes to the line. Let's see what the Ferrari can do. Can he get himself on the front row straight away? Yes, he is, because he's the only other driver to settle lap time. Right, now is there's Mika going up to P2 as well. Next cross the line will be one of the Alfa Romeos. There he goes then. And that is Tamo, who does not improve his lap time. Is only just starting one, as we see. There's a few people starting to finish their laps. We've got Hannaford, Matt Tibos up into 3rd position in the Aston Martin. Behind them, we have the likes, of course, you've got the few McLarens crossing the line. Harry up to 4th, and so far both the Alpha Tauris coming to the line right now. Kelvin crosses the line. Let's see where he can go. 5th position. His teammate Jake goes up to 7th position as well. Behind them, the Aston Martin of Seinbig crossing the line. Let's see where he can go then. Cross the line, he's invalidated his lap time. They're running a Sebastian Vettel helmet for good measure. We've got Stroll going across the line, doesn't improve either. He's just starting his lap time. And a few others coming in to the pit lane then. So a few drivers getting ready to go for their first flying laps really of the session. We've got Nino who's invalidated again. We've got Stroll dudes coming through the coming through the top of the hill. He's probably either going to carry on this lap time or come into the pit lane. Well, he's certainly coming to the pit lane now because he's invalidated his lap time straight away. So a few people proving a few mistakes so far on their first couple of laps. Track Formula currently on his out lap, so he's leaving it for the first of 2 runs in this session. He's going to be doing ideally with just over 12 minutes to go in qualifying, going out the way there of the Aston Martin of Matt. Alain pulling to the inside to let both of the Alpha Tauris through on the outside, which is absolutely fair enough and good sportsmanship there. He could have probably carried on, but decided he wants to just not hold people up and not have the issues. He almost drops it on the exit the corner. Up the top of the hill though, meanwhile Wozzy on a lap time as well. Currently purple in sector 2, so not doing too shabby right now. He's got 12-13 seconds to get to the line. I think this might not be the most perfect lap time. Let's see his lane. So he's going to dive into the pit lane, or is he going to finish this lap off? He's going to finish this lap off. Should be around about a 1:26.7. 1:25.9, then puts a P8 on the standings right now on those soft compound tyres. As now we look down at the rest of the field to the likes of Track Formula, who is on that set of soft tyres. One of the last drivers in that little group on these soft tyres right now to set a lap time. We've got Nino, we've got Stroll, we've got Track Formula and Ben still to set lap times. Of those, Track Formula is the only one on circuit right now. Well, he's not going to be on circuit for right long because that's the wall. And that is exactly what you don't want to be doing down there. On the curb, rear end swaps around, and that's straight to the scene of the accident. That is qualifying, most certainly done already. As they can see, Big on currently an outlap with the engine sounding about as useful as a Ferrari from last year. But nonetheless, let's see what it can do then. The game just having a few little technical difficulties right now as Tom comes into the pit. Then we've got Shabby currently on a lap time, but he's currently 3 seconds down, so he's on an in lap. We've got a few people starting that out lap. We've got Kelvin on an out lap. We've got Sheringham on an out lap as well. We've got Ben currently on an out lap just ahead of us as well. So a few people starting to do their out laps, a few people just starting to come through. But the real story so far, Trap Formula on his first flying lap into the wall. And that's such an easy thing to do down the back of the circuit. Just, well, in that area of the corner into 5-6. We've seen Lewis Hamilton did that in 2007. We've seen it so oftenly in other tiers as well around here. That corner, deceivingly difficult. And we could see a few people potentially do that. Maybe even into the race. We then now ride on board with Ben in the sole Red Bull right now in the field. As the other one's currently in the wall. Only one driver so far on that set of medium tyres. That being side B, we presume he's going to come onto a set of soft tyres later on in this session as well. See if he can get himself up the field. He's got yellow flag sector 3 for, I think, one of the Ferraris slowing down the back of the circuit. But on board we are then with Ben down towards turn number 1. One car on the inside, the Alfa Romeo gets well out of the way. Then braking there, a little bit over rotation in the front, but he gets it fine. Into 3rd, up to 4th. Then build the revs into 5th, into 6th. Up to 7th, they'll spot the braking here, use all the curb on the exit, or the tarmac on the exit as well, even a bit of the dust as well. Through turn 4, nice and smooth through there. Down into 5 and 6, don't do what his teammate did just a few moments ago, and he should be all scot-free. Gets it nice through there, the car absolutely planted for him. Little bit slow right now, looks like, so far in the first sector, but let's see what he can do in this mid-section. Down into turn 8. Let the car flow down into here, into 2nd gear, down into 1st gear, up to 3rd on the exit, and then just build the engine up. DRS wide open, as wide as you like. Down towards turn number 9, then we come. And it's nice, smooth, then up towards 12, then rear end stepping out there as Pox goes up to provisional pole again. A 124.7. Best at middle sector so far from Ben, though. Let's see what he can do. In the Red Bull, then the Honda power building up down towards the last corner. Let's see, over the bump, down to the last corner. Can he get that Red Bull onto the front row? Can he get it onto provisional pole? The answer to that will be most certainly no. It's only good enough for 7 so far, but not too bad so far for him. Can work on that so far. Let's see who else we've got on a lap time. We've got Tom on lap time. We've got Sheringham just coming to the pit lane. We've got Ollie on a lap time as well. He's currently coming through the middle of the section. We've got Nino also on a lap time as well. Let's see what both of the Williams drivers can do. They're currently 19th and 18th as Mika goes up to P2 then in the other Alpine then. So here we go then. Nino across the line. Where can he go? It's good enough for 3rd position right now. What about his teammate, who's currently got to the line as well? He's up by quite a lot, but I think he had invalidated on his lap time, so stays down there in 19th position so far. As you can see, the all Meliab drivers on circuit. Jake currently coming through the middle sector as well in the other Alpha Tauri we've got on the field, of 2 Alpha Tauris, of technically the 4 Red Bull cars we have. As Jake comes up then, getting out of the way one of the McLarens. Up the hill he comes. And we're only twitching out ever so slightly there as you rise over the top of the crest. It just seems so easily as he's up 9/10 in sector 2 then right now. This could be an absolutely amazing lap time. He's going to get a slight toe, and I believe that might be off his teammate. That is indeed his teammate then, just ahead of him of Kelvin. Might just give him an ever so slight toe as he comes down to the line. Indeed he does. Can this put Jake on the front row? He was quick in the first sector, quick in the second, not as quick in the 3rd sector. It is good enough for the 2nd row of the grid low, which is absolutely good enough for him. As Tibbs comes into the pit, then we've got Roan on the circuit. We've got Harry crossing the line as well to start his lap time. He's just coming to the pit then actually as well. As we look then through the fields, a few moments of just moments of coolness as Harold goes up into 4th position in the Haas lane. So he's starting to come up the field as well. We're starting to see a slight showing of who is where right now in qualifying. So far, the Alpines look set favourites to be taking pole position. Second there, but the Williams, they're only 9/100ths of a second off of 2nd position. Behind them, Harold just 40 thousandths of 2nd position as well. A bit of a gap then down to Jake by a couple of thousandths of a second to be fair. And then incredibly close between him, Tom, as well as his teammate as well of Stroldu. Tibos let down in 8th position, just slightly behind, and a tiny bit of a gap of a 10th of a second to Rowan, and then Shabby as well. Behind them, Kelvin, then Angel, and then currently Ben in 13th, Harry ahead of Rosal, then Tambo ahead of Sherem, Cybeck ahead of Ollie, as Rowan goes up to P2, then in the McLaren, slots himself in between Mika and Box. So that there, extremely good for him as well. So a few drivers now starting to get their laps on, as now a few drivers slowly start to funnel themselves out on to the circuit. Let's see, Harold should be coming into the pit lane. Indeed he is. So it looks like we might just have the Ferrari on circuit right now with Sharon. So I look down into the chat, and people saying the game's behaving like it's running at 20 FPS currently, so that could be some slight issues there for some of the drivers. Gareth saying Harry's only in 14th position. Well, never question drivers, they can still improve, of course. Only a 10th really off of 13th, and very close midfield as well, so quite a few drivers can still improve as we rot on board down with Sharon through the last corner. The Ferrari slightly lagging away through the last corner, the number 27. Down to the line then, the Ferrari 27, of course, John Alesi, Gilles Villeneuve, some of the famous drivers that ran that number. And so far, P6 then on the grid for that Ferrari driver, which is absolutely lagging all over the circuit, which is always good to see a Ferrari slightly laggy. It might be the reason why their engine's so good now. But nonetheless, who else on a lap time? We've got Tom out of the pit lane right now. We've got a few others coming out the pit. We've got Ollie starting his lap time as well. Down towards turn number 1 then, letting on the brakes then for the Williams driver. A little bit deep into turn number 1, but he should be able to open turn 2 and 3 up absolutely fine. Indeed, he does. The Williams there looking pretty good indeed. Goes over the crest down into turn 4, then down towards 5, 6 and 7. And we've seen one driver off down here. Could we see another one? 3 temps up so far on his lap time. Good enough. Put him right about P14 so far. Needs to find a few more temps low right now if he wants to get himself into that all-elusive top 10. Then right now with 1 minute 55 seconds to go then here in qualify. Down he comes then. The Williams sparking away on the exit of the corner. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Down into 11 and 12. Up we go then into the it's almost like a roller coaster this circuit. Absolutely fantastic to watch. Up over the crest, 9 tenths of a second up so far in his lap time. This could be enough to put him around about P12, P11 potentially. Through the last corner, down to the line, a little bit wide there, doesn't get his lap time invalidated. What can he do then? Should be around about 11, 12, 13, but it is indeed 13th position. Is next to cross the line. I believe it might be one of the gaggers. It might be the likes of Wazzle. We've got a few other drivers coming through the last couple of corners as well. I think Ollie Oh, his teammate Mika might be coming through the last couple of corners right now. We're coming through one of the first corners, so it's them coming through the first corner as you run through the order to see who is currently coming through the last area of this circuit. Always difficult to see, especially when we don't have Taz down here in these tiers. Hopefully we can get them eventually, but right now it's a little bit difficult. We'll go on board with Ben. Indeed, we shall go on board then with Mr. Ben then. Currently going down the back of the circuit, currently in the middle sector as well, by the old pit lane mates right now. And you then start rising back up over the crest. Then one or two drivers retiring as, oh dear, Shabby, what have you done there? You've been disqualified. Now, what's happened there, then? To get disqualified, that's always a little bit interesting, but through the last couple of corners, up the pole then, Tom, 1:24.5. We haven't seen that one then. As we ride on board with Ben, where can he get the car then? Can he get himself up the field? Currently only in 14th position, goes only up to 11th position in the end. What about the AlphaTauri and also the Ferrari coming to the line as well? Let's see where Angel can go across the line. It's good enough for P3 then. Across the line he comes. Who's next across the line? It might be the likes of, potentially, might be Mika or Poxy then. It might be Poxy coming to the line. It is Poxy coming to the line. Does not improve enough to get himself onto pole position. As we're now just rating then, was he coming through the last couple of corners? Let's see, 16th position so far. Can he get himself up any higher? He gets up to 13th position. And we're now just rating for Cybik to cross the line as well. And he's currently 18th, goes up to 12th position. And that there, your qualifying seemingly done. If I'm not too mistaken, we're just waiting for Tom to come into the pit lane. So Tom on pole position then from Pop in second, Angel in third. Of course, Rowan in fourth, Nino ahead of Mika, Tibos ahead of Harold and Sharon, Jake ahead of Stolduch. Then we've got Cybig ahead of Harry, Wazzy ahead of Calvin as well right there. Indeed then, so officially Tom does claim pole position then here. The Dutchman provisionally and most certainly is the fastest driver so far in qualifying, 1/10 of a second ahead of Pop. And then Angel in third, Rowan ahead of Nino, Mika ahead of Tibos, Harold as Sharon, Jake and then Stoll. And then we've got Cybig, Harry, Wazzle then in 14th, Kelvin ahead of Ben, Ollie ahead of Tamo, Trap Formula in Shabby, who did get disqualified, remember. After that, we'll be starting at the back of the grid, so we'll never know really where we can see Shabby go through this field. Could be a last question mark. The likes of Trap Formula as well, who is currently, of course, crashed out in qualifying as well. As you land, just get ready then, just a few moments time. And then we get to that all-important grid, the formation lap as well. People saying, Oliver, 12th to a podium. Well, we'll see. What's everyone's predictions then? Where are we going to get the drivers then? Are we going to see a surprise winner? Or are we going to see one of the top guys win it in this field? Are we going to see something incredible? Let's see what we can see then in this race. We have just 16 seconds to go before we get themselves down onto the grid. Well, everyone, grab your popcorn because let's go racing then here in the deserts of Bahrain then under the beautiful floodlit night sky. And here we are then, getting ready then for our formation lap then around this circuit. All of the 3.36 miles of this fantastic, incredible, I must say, circuit. First OC race back in 2004. Since 2014 has been putting on, without doubt, some of the best racing of the year, especially since it's become that night race, in my opinion, has always provided some of the greatest races of the season. Of course, we all remember what happened this time, well, last time we came here in Bahrain before the season. Of course, you saw that spectacular crash from Roman Grosjean. Remember, of course, the outer loop as well, with the likes of Sergio Perez's first win. Well, we'll see what we can do in the virtual round, shall we? Because you've got Tom, we've got Pop in that Alpine then, currently in second. We've got Angel in the Ferrari, Ronan in the McLaren top four, all different manufacturers, all, well, yeah, we'll say all different engines, but no, not quite so much anymore. We've got Nino in fifth, we've got Mika in sixth, Tibos in the Aston Martin in seventh, we've got the Haas in eighth, Sherem in ninth, Jake ahead of Stoll. And then further down the back, we've got both of the Red Bulls, 16th and 19th respectively. Both of them are going to be hoping for a good afternoon as well, and hoping for no mistakes out there. Of course, anything can still happen in Formula 1, and in the wise words of myself, it most certainly always will happen when I probably curse them, because that tends to happen quite a lot. Now let's go racing then. Just a few moments time as the first couple of drivers then reach the grid. Track Formula reach been disqualified already. He's run into someone, obviously. Presumably that's into Shabby down the back there. So those two already in some slight little bother, but nonetheless they still get a start the race, unlike some games where you not be able to. And Tom and Pop, and that's going to be the front two then. The outside versus the inside. Remember, Pop should be getting the better run. He'll have the inside into turn number one, but it's all going to be about can Tom cover it off then. As let's get ready with 5 red shiny lights. And we are just about underway then. Lights out, and most certainly we are off then. Good start from Tom. Looks like a better start from Pop there as he almost banged wheels down toward turn number one. But it looks like the Alpine up the inside there, but not holding it then. The Mercedes trying to go around the outside. A bit of contact there. That turn one, certainly contact down the back low. As the McLaren getting all sorts of out of shape there. As now the starting one 3 almost 4 abreast there. As on the inside, one of the Ferraris looking, what a terrible start there, you might say there. Looks like Angel dropping right the way down the field there. A few cars getting a swapper on the front. But what a start, might you say, for Poplen. And Tom as well there. He's got one of the Ferraris, that's Angel around at the back. And he's dropped into the gravel. We've got another car in trouble as well. That is Jake. As now all sorts of melee going on there. Is Angel's got himself a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limit. And I'm not quite sure why the game's decided to do that one. It's around the outside, attempting the Red Bull there. On the AlphaTauri, can he get the traction on the exit then? Trap Formula up 1, 2, 3 positions already. Try and make another one. Brave to hold around the outside, up the top of the hill. Might end with a bit of contact. And he'll just swing right around the outside. The AlphaTauri just giving him enough space there on this opening couple of moments in this race. Back up front though, already, and opening that gap so far is the top two. Starting to open that gap immediately. And they're all winners of this race. Tamo is up 4 positions. Harry up 6 positions. They're all losers, of course. Angel as well. 8 positions lost for Jake. It's down in towards turn number 1 as the old favourite telemetry glitch pops up for us all to witness again. Never always loses us, always follows us wherever we go here. But a good start though from a few of the drivers. As you can see them running down the hill then, and already top 2 opening the gap. The Williams currently in 3rd position. We're just ready and waiting for the game to decide to give us the order back through again, where it's not doing this, which would be ideal, as currently everyone swaps themselves around the grid so far. And there we go, back into official land of seeing where we are so far. That's always good to see, as Matt currently up in P5 so far, getting chased down by the other Alpine as well. And you can see so far the top 6 drivers starting to pull away right now from the likes of Harry. Of course, we got Sherem as well. Of course, Harry on those medium tyres We expect him to be dropping off ever so slightly then from the rest of this kind of little gaggle of cars for the time being. And he might just be slightly holding the likes of Sharon. We got the likes of Harold as well. So those two are going to be dropping back more and more as we go along. So those two are probably hoping to just spaz of Harry as soon as feasibly possible. As up front again. Again, I'm starting to close ever so slightly now. As Tom getting that gap more and more as the DRS now enabled on this lap as well. So, the crucial thing here is all about is where is Pop going to place the car? How much risk do you want to do? We're only on lap 3 of this race and we've got a car off. That's a McLaren. And that there is Ronan. Now, has he gone into the wall heavily? I'm wondering. Well, he's most certainly in the gravel. And then we're looking to see, has he got any damage on that car? It looks like he's dropped out of turn 2 into 3. In the game then. Let's see if it gives us any indication if he's got any damage. It will give us the outside camera. Well, it's not going to. So, unfortunately, there we go. The outside camera doesn't look like any especially severe front damage then right now. But nonetheless, as the telemetry side is not going to give me very much information. Apparently, Tom is minus 1 minute. Or is that minus 1 hour 28? That's a lot of time he's between. It's 1 minute, actually. So a few little niggly issues up there. But nonetheless, those top 3 and wide. Oh, my dear Lord. He's spun it. Pop off the road then on the exit of that is incredible then. Out of the lead of this race. And he's dropped it on the curb. And, well, by howdy, that is a shocker. And straight away, Pop, and there another car off. That's Rowan again off the road then. But Pop dropping it then through there. And that means now, without a shadow, Tom now leads this race up the inside there. The Alfa Romeo passing him, and now Tom is getting absolutely swarmed. It's like buzzing bees all over him as one car goes one way, one goes another. And now he's got to get the bit between his teeth and try and come back through. Now, though, the Aston Martin trying to have a look up the inside. Indeed, he is going to look up the inside. And it might even drop down even more positions then for Pop. He tries to go around the outside and gets himself a 3-second time penalty again as well. It's just going from bad to worse in the space of what can only be described as just over half a lap. To go from that as well. Behind them as well, Sybig is just going to be presumably just waiting his turn. But now, Tom, 1.5 second lead over the nearest car. That there being the Williams then in second position. The new order of the Alpine in third position. The Aston Martin now of Tibos up to 4th. And then Sherham ahead of Harry, who is starting to close back up onto this group then. So 5th and 6th, surprisingly, just doing what they need to do right now. Not getting themselves involved in any battles because all these drivers behind are just starting to squabble then down the back. Of course, DRS all open. And looking at Ben, one car in the pit lane. That's the Alpha Tauri then of Jake. He's decided to come in the pit lane. No one's going to dive up the inside. It looks like from this far back so far, everyone's just kind of minding their own business in that DRS train. There's Jake. Gets himself back going again there. Currently 18th position ahead of Angel and Rowan, who have both, of course, had their issues earlier on. And the real talking point so far, though, is we've got the top 4 currently running away with things right now as it stands. We've got 5th, 6th and 7th, but there's still a lot of time to go, though. We're only on lap 5 of this race. Well, already it seems that there's been more action than I can remember for quite a while. Yeah, but so far, let's see if Wazzy can try and make any type of move. Then Harry just a little bit further ahead there. Holding his line right now. He's just using the DRS. He's using all his power he can. Might soon start dropping behind that DRS of Sharon. Then he's just slowly opening that gap more as we go along. But Lowe's Free pulling away. And then we've got the battle here between the likes of Pop, who is probably absolutely furious in that cockpit. He probably can't believe that he's gone off the road and dropped this far down. But there's still a long race, you can still do it. To be fair, there's always an option of coming in the pit lane and trying to do an alternative strategy. As they're bent up the inside, then down towards turn 1. That's like taking candy from a baby there with the DRS down into turn number 1. But the exit speed, though, let's see if the Haas can get any good exit, of course. Get the double bite of the cherry. Ben will have to go covering the inside line. It looks like he's got that one absolutely covered so far. I'll tell you what, right now, Matt starting to close up to the back of Mika. So we've still got a few battles going on up front. We've still got that potential for the lead. So far, though, you can say Tom is absolutely flying away. 2.3 seconds so far the gap as Tamo gets past Cybig. Looks like that was down in towards the hairpin then. And we've got a car off into the wall. And that Ollie and the safety car deployed then. So let's see then. We're right on board then with Jake. And let's see where he's gone off. If the game's going to let us. No, he's not, because he's despawned then already. I imagine what he's done. Probably got on, you can see the debris on the outside. Got on the curb. And he's gone slam bang into that Armco barrier. So now the question is, and surely now, everyone's going to be coming in the pit lane. We're on lap 6 of this race. And let's see. And we're going to see the likes of your race leaders dive into the pits. Indeed it is. It'll be very optimistic if they don't. I'd imagine, to be fair, we might see quite a few drivers come in the pit lane. Will we see the likes of the medium runners dive into the pits? They're going to stay out. They are going to stay out. We've got Wazzy in the pit lane as well. So he is going to go for the alternative strategy. Now I'm wondering, this surely be a set of hard tyres then. Indeed it is a set of hard tyres. A lot of them going for the hards. So I'm wondering, is this a bit of a mistake then for your top 2 in this field right now? Really, the top 4, could this be a little bit of an issue for them? Because those guys are going to drop down the field, we surely imagine now, unless we get another safety car later on. And now it's starting to look like that could have really been the wrong option. Still early days, we're only on lap 7. But everyone else already in the pit lane. Most of them on the hards, now presumably going to go to the end of this race. Of course, Poxy with that penalty he got earlier on. And I do imagine, and it's a shame, of course, looks like Angel, he had that serve that penalty as well. Luckily it's in the pit lane, so he will be able to catch the field up. Yeah, indeed. Top 4 not really pitting then. Well, really, top 5 not pitting. That is a real surprise. They're going to go for the most extreme strategy. They are probably now gambling on a safety car that's going to somehow let them to get in the pit and get back out again. That's what they're going to try and push these medium tyres to go onto the soft near the end. Now, there's a chance they can make it with the safety car. But it will be a very much a big order. And right now, they're going to just have to hope they can have the time and have the pace to pull away from these guys behind. Luckily, Shabby as well, he should be able to go all the way to the end to get that set of softs on right there. With the likes of Tom, he's probably licking his lips right now ahead of him, as long as he doesn't get him caught up in any mistakes. There is 5 cars that surely, and I'm using this with a pinch of salt, he should be able to clear. Nino as well, just behind in the Williams, hoping and probably praying to capitalise on Tom's mistakes, who so far this race, only after 8 laps, is proving to show that he has potential to be extremely quick this season. Behind him, Tom as well. Well, Nina might I say as well, also looking quick. We don't know, of course, what the true pace of the other Alpine of Pop could do. Of course, he'd rather popped himself out of the order when he spun down the field on the curbs on the 4th lap. And below, he has a penalty, and let's have a little look at that penalty as well. It's a 3 seconds. Angel still has the 10 seconds stop-go penalty, remember, as well, which he will have to serve. So, in fact, he should be able to go to the end of this race, and he might have a reason to get that removed, because it did look like a very reasonable reason to get a penalty there. He was way off the circuit, recovering from his spin, and he's been given a penalty despite him going slowly. So we'll see what the stewards think of that one. Of course, everything is in the stewards' hands if anything gets reported. A safety car then decides he wants to peel into the pit lane on this lap length. So, Harry will lead them away then for Ben. Indeed, yeah, Angel saying that, well, another Angel saying that penalty seems to be a bit of a bug. Indeed, I must say it probably most certainly is. I hope so, at least, because it is most certainly a very outrageous penalty. But let's get ready to go then here, as we've just ready for Harry then to light the cars up, and away we go then, back racing then here on lap number 9. And immediately, Kelvin, Shabby style about together as well. Tom just sitting behind them as well. Behind them all sorts of melee going on down the start line there. It looked like one of the Ferraris of Sherham going up the inside. Kelvin's dropped 1 or 2 positions as well now, so a few people starting to drop their positions. Tom already up to 3rd position now. So, incredible start there right now. As you can see, these drivers that have stayed out are just dropping like a stone through the field. Stone dropping down the field. Kelvin dropping down the field. There's Mika trying to dive up the inside there as well. Can't quite do it on the brakes there. Just has to think better on. The back on the AlphaTauri getting all sorts out of shape, and he's dropping right down the field right now as he's getting himself pinched between Wazzle and the other Alpine as well, a Pop. And he's just looking like that strategy, whatever he was trying to do, is just seemingly going backwards and backwards. I tell you right now, though, Shabby has that nice little buffer now again back over Nino. Because, well, Tom, well, I say he's got that nice little buffer over Nino because he's got Shabby right between them, holding them up. Of course, with a nice bit of toe, a nice bit of little slivery slides. Let's see if he can dive one up the inside, potentially turn number 1. Let's see if Shabby going to fight this one too defensively. Doesn't look like he is. He's not using his ERS. He's just going to know this is not the fight he wants to fight too heavily then. As you can see, he decides not to fight that one. And now behind him, we've got the Mercedes then of Stolbot currently coming through the field then as well. Also on those absolutely shot nearly those medium tyres. As meanwhile, the battle here between the Alpine and the Ferrari going on here. And the Alpine just holding its line there ahead of the Ferrari around the outside in turn number 5 down towards 6 and 7. Great battling between those two. And the Ferrari just about holding his line right there, but could not get the move done. And Pop, who's still breathing from earlier, I imagine, probably hoping to try and get past Tibos, who is now watching his teammate, as Pop, get past the other Mercedes driver there of Stoll. And there, Mecca up the inside. They break in then. And should be a nice smooth move. Though let's see, the Mercedes are going to fight it back around the outside then. And let's see, that's brave stuff off the road on the exit. Can he hold it around the outside here as well? Yes, he can. Now up the inside then, here goes Matt late on the brakes. And he might just be able to sliver on up the inside as well. And Mercedes just again holding the outside line. And now the slipstream train, we got a car off, and that's Angel. And he's spun, he's jumped at the last corner now. Has there been contact there as well? But, well, boy, if it rains, it sorely thunders down in the world of that Ferrari garage right now. It's just going backwards for them. And talking of going forwards, meanwhile, the opposite. Here is Tom starting to come through up towards the top 2 now as well. And let's see what he can do in meantime. As you can see, this kind of battle we've got right now between 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th position. All in a nice line, all in the slipstream train, all kind of right now stuck behind. Really, the cork in the bottle here must be a Stoldoozy. Currently in 7th. Matt there just behind in 8th. And you can see that behind them as well. Pop starting to drop back, actually, surprisingly here. You'd thought, actually, there could be more of a chance that Popsy can always close up that gap. He was up the front and led this race for a couple of laps until he made that crucial mistake. As here we are then, a battle there for the turn, there for the lead. It's almost 3 wide into turn number 1, and how have they got away with that one? How have they got away with that? They were 3 wide there, down in towards turn number 1, and somehow none of them have come off scathed. There is now Tom again, the good exit there, down in towards turn number 5. They almost bang wheels there, and a good defending then from Ben. Does not want to let any ounce of steam then from that Mercedes to come through. And now look who's caught up. It's Nino. He's here as well. So now we have a real ding-donger of a battle then. Not only as Angel gets another penalty then down the back for multiple warnings. Surely I'd imagine that must be for a corner cut potentially. But it is just not going well for him as well. And let's see, is Tom got any potential here? We'll have DRS next lap, but remember, Ben will have DRS of Harry as well. So as these guys all just follow each other, it's all just letting Nino slowly get up to the back of them. And DRS active this time. Let's see, has that Mercedes got enough in it to get alongside the Red Bull? Indeed, this time it looks like he has. Indeed, the inside line down the inside towards turn number 1 should just be able to hold the line, but the Red Bull still there, still fighting it for every ounce he's got, but can't quite do it. Now the outside there for the Williams as well, and what a nice little move there from Nino around the outside. And Ben tried, he held his line, couldn't quite do it, and now here we are then, the battle between 3rd and 2nd position. Really the ideal battle right now. This is really for the net lead, because remember, Harry's still yet to come in. But so far, the top 3, all Mercedes-powered cars. 4th there, Ben. Mecca in 5th position ahead of Matt. And we've got a car off the road somewhere, and that looks like... And that's Popsy again. And let's see, has he damaged the front wing, I'm wondering, this time? Because that looked like he maybe hasn't, so he is just going backwards. As now, there we go again, DRS activated. Let's see, can Tom close up to the back of Harry then? It might not be down to here. He might have a shot at it down into turn number 4 though. Let's see, with the DRS wide open then, should be easy in the pit lane there. And that Popsy's out of this race. Looks like we've also lost Tamu as well. And the safety car has been deployed. And now what has happened there? And that's out the straight. And now what? What has happened there for Tamu? He's gone off on the straight. Well, you don't see that very often. Now, has he hit someone that we have not seen? Because that is very, very strange indeed. I've never seen a car go off down there like that before. Unless he's been helped. Well, you imagine he's been helped or something's gone on there, because if he's dropped it like that, then that's very interesting. But Harry, well, that's given him a that's given him a little help right now, because now surely, can he go? No, I don't think he can actually. Probably, I'd imagine he'll have a set of hards on. I don't know. It might be a tall order. I generally don't believe those soft. If he sets softs, I honestly wouldn't imagine they could do 15 laps. We have been surprised before with what drivers can do in these tyres. Let's see. Well, he's coming in the pits. And let's see then, is it going to be a set of hards? Is he going to go on a set of softs? Let's see what he's going to do. It's going to be a set of hard tyres then. So, he's going to commit to the hards. He knows more than I do then what the tyres can do. As a 5-second penalty has been given to Sherham there for contact under the safety car. Now, who was it with, might I say? It was with Stroll Juice as well. There's now all of the drivers in the pit lane there who were not in the pits earlier on. Both the Ferraris, and they're an absolute disaster in the Ferrari box. There is Sherham gets held up. This is held up Angel. And it's just going from bad to worse. You can see there, the mechanics taking absolutely forever. They weren't serving the penalty. They were just taking that long. And this is just rotten luck then from the Scuderia team today. Right now you can see one thing. Tom, who leads this field, now ahead of Nino, ahead of Mika in third. Matt now up to 4th position in this race. Harold in 5th ahead of Harry now into 6th position, to be fair, after all of that. So this has not actually gone as bad as I'd thought, actually. That safety car, exactly what he wanted. Ben in 7th. Shabby now in 8th position. Stoll in 9th ahead of Wazzle in 10th. Trap Formula down there in 11th position. We haven't seen much of him this race after early on. Sybigger now ahead of Jake. Rowan ahead of Sherham. Kelvin, and then down the back Angel with that just pure rotten luck he seems to be getting. And, well, and Mark, you cannot believe it. Now another penalty's been given. And this time it looks like surely that has been Sybig and Trap Formula into the pit lane. Now, has he broken the front wing? Surely that must mean he has broken the front wing. We got multiple cars in. And what on earth has happened there? And they're serving the stop-go penalties, are they not? Yes, they are serving their stop-go penalties. Well, this is near-nigh unbelievable. The amount of drama down the back of this field, and we've seen it so often that we can see in this game, you just, even if you don't mean to tap someone, you can give them the lightest kiss. It's very interesting indeed. Indeed, they're just removing that penalty as well, which, if they're overseas, I think you're not allowed to do. Well, Tom up front leads this race from Nino. Mika in 3rd. Tibos in 4th still. We've got to wonder though. Let's see, can Tibos get that podium off of Mika? Could we see the likes of Harry still win this race? As a safety car then in this lap. So here we are then, yet again. The battle between Tom, Nino, behind them we've got Mika and Tibos. Harold, we got Harry, we've still got just over 13 and a bit laps to go from this race. And let's get ready to go then. Good start there for again straight away from Tom. Absolutely rocks it away there. Nino having to cover the inside line as well. Here comes Mika as well, trying to get the slipstream down towards turn 1. Is anyone going to have a little dive in towards turn number 1? Doesn't look like it so far. One car going extremely wide there. Looks like that was Matt going off the road slightly. Harold gets up into position then to 4th. One of the McLarens getting a twitch on the outside. There is now the inside. One of the Rebels, the Alfa Romeo, having a look as well. This is all sorts of carnage as Harold tries to switch one way to the inside then. He won't do it down into there. That'll be very, very brave. Behind them, Ben and Shabby is behind Wazzy getting overtaken as well. As Harry trying to go up the inside then into turn number 8. Into 9 we go. And that looked pretty good up the inside there. So he's got that one there for the time being. Harry down into 9th position, might I say, is not having a race to remember so far. He is just dropping down the field. Right now is Tom. Still opens that gap there as well as Nino. The make ahead of Harold. Well, down the field now, we got that kind of gaggle of cars again starting to form with Harry kind of holding this little mini train up right now. You can see the gap starting to slowly form as you're just getting ready to go for DRS. Behind them there, you got Track Formula and Sherham going at it. And let's see the inside line then for the Ferrari, the outside line for the Red Bull. The McLaren just in the way there. They almost bang wheels there. As now trying to go on the outside, the Red Bull, the Ferrari off the road. The Red Bull almost off the road as well. All sorts of lag there as well. We've got a car off as well. That looks like that's Kelvin off in the background. And this is just turning into a rodeo ride for some of these drivers right now. Shabby currently in 7th position, just looking behind Ben. And you can see now, really talking about that gap I started to mention opening up. You can see really that, as things stand, Wazzy kind of stood himself in no man's land right now. The gap just opening up ahead. The gap very much starting to open up behind as well. As Rowan still tries to close up. 2 tenths length behind to Stodu. As Sybig gets himself a 3-second time penalty, currently up to 8 seconds, 13 for Angel, 5 right now. As you can see the rear end there, the Red Bull really to try and late brake. He's surprised he hasn't damaged the front wing there. Let's see, DRS though will be active next time around, so they'll get it down towards turn number 4. As Rowan doesn't need that, he's going to dive up the inside towards turn number 1. The Red Bull's going to have a bit of that as well down into turn number 1. As well, let's see, can he hold the line around the outside? No, he can't. And let's see, low, DRS now flings open for all the drivers then. And let's see, can the Red Bull then get back up the inside? Those soft compound tyres working an absolute treat then for him then. Round the inside he goes, and that is job well done. We've now just over 11 laps to go. As you can see that, the Alfa Tauri there looking up the inside as well of the Mercedes, and that Mercedes rather just seems to be getting dropped more and more there, and has all having sort of melee for him. Up front meanwhile, Nino is getting that gap down to about 6 tenths of a second. So he is starting to close up, but these top 2, whatever you can say, these guys are dominating right now, and you'd imagine what the gap might have been without the safety cars, without any of this drama we've had in this race. These guys could have had a massive gap, really, so all fair play to them. You can see DRS activated, of course. Might close the gap up. We'll be very surprised to see any move down towards turn 1 from this far back. But most certainly are closing up on each other, but of course, closing but no cigar down there. Further back, you got Mika Herald and Matt Tibos still in that line right now. As you can see up the top of the hill, still Tom holding that line. He just has enough of a gap left right now, as he got a car having a mistake. That's the Aston Martin of Seibig, is it not? It is the Aston Martin of Seibig who's gone around at turn number 2. As Jake now goes around at turn number 4. And now what's happened to him then? So he's also gone around. So when we saw it was going bad for Ferrari, now it's turn of AlphaTauri to go wrong. As Matt Tibos still with that DRS range right now, kind of being helped because of Harold also having DRS of Mika. Harold just probably being able to stay ahead more and more as this race goes on. We've just got 9 laps to go. Gap up front, just over 0.4 of a second. And Tom's starting a defence lightly. And now you're wondering, is this an opportunity? Could this be a moment for Nino? Gets a good exit through here. Uses the DRS. Tom has to go defensive. He knows he's under threat now. Let's see. DRS wide open. Then let's see. He'll have to go to the outside line. Can he sweep around the outside? Brave stuff to try it. Defending all he might though. Tom holds the inside line. Now it's about the old switcheroo then. Up towards turn number 4. Let's see. The outside versus the inside. Can Nino get the line? He's got ahead already, and we've got a car off the road. That's one of the McLarens in the background. Looked like that must have been Rowan off the road. And indeed it is the McLaren of Rowan off the road. And now the McLaren off the road. It seems that corner causing all sorts of mayhem down there. So Nino now takes a lead of this race from Mika in second. But in third position, Tom now in second after the switch around just last lap. But remember, Tom's still got a chance at this. He still has an opportunity. He still has time to come back into this race. Remember, DRS, if you get about 4 or 5 attempts, you've got an opportunity down towards turn number 1. He's burning a bit of his DRS. And he is closing up. Remember though, they're both reasonably even on their ERS management as well. And here we go again. Again, we got another Ferrari off the road. That looks like it's Angel again, who's dropped it. Here we go then, round 2. And is he close enough to have a look down towards turn number 1? Let's see, closing. Is he going to have time down the inside turn 1? Yes, he is going to go down the inside turn 1. Gets the inside line. Can the Williams do the old go back around the outside? No, he can't, but he'll get the bite of the cherry. No, he does not. So Tom just holding the house of cards right there. Behind them, the battle for third position also starting to heat up because Matt and Mick are starting to close together. Behind them, we've got the likes of Shabby and Harold, the two horses, very close together. Ben also started to come into this race as well, was he? Harry has one of the Red Bulls up the inside of Trap Formula. Indeed we are, but Sherem in 11th, Kelvin in 12th, Sybig ahead of Angel, Rowan, Stoldudes down there in 16th position. But still now you look at this battle up front, you look at this battle for second, it's still not over. That 22 of 29, and you can see Tom just trying to break that toe. We know how powerful it is. Look how late on the brakes that Nino can get, of course. Now can he get the DRS? Is he close enough down towards turn number 1 to try it? Let's see. Well, he's going to pull to the inside line. And is he going to have a dive? Let's see him be brave of it to go for a dive down towards turn number 1. Thinks better of it this time around. Further back low, almost contact there, and that there on the inside. That's the Haas going back through. That's Shabby coming back through then. There, and those two again switching around. This is starting to turn into what of a train right now. Mika, Shabby, Matt, Harold, Ben, Wazzle, Trap, Formula not too far out away from this as well if these guys will start bunching up more and more. But Tom, still doing what he needs to do. 2/10 that gap. One of the tyres, though, they're all top 3 on 15 lap old tyres. And you must say as well, Shabby is on for a very good opportunity at that 3rd position right now. 7 lap old mediums compared to the 15 lap old tyres that Mika is currently running. So there's still actual opportunity there for that 3rd position. You never know actually that Shabby, if he's got the pace, he could still challenge for this win. Gap to leader only is 1.8 seconds then between these two. And if these two continue to battle, which looks like they might do, down towards turn 1, still can't do it. And there, up to 3rd position, goes Shabby then. And now he has all his eyes set. Can he get that 1.4 second gap closed in the remaining 4-5 laps we've got in this race to get onto the back of these guys? If these guys continue to battle, it's almost a certainty that he will. Sabby there, 3rd, Mika in 4th, Matt in 5th. You can see all this gaggle of cars. Harold, Ben, Wazzy, Trap, Formula on those soft compound tyres. Slowly starting to come through this field more and more. But we keep an eye low on this battle for the lead because there's still opportunity. You can still see that Tom having to cover the inside line. Just trying to break the toe ever so slightly. 0.3 of a second this time around. This could be another good opportunity then for Nino to try and come through. Behind them, that gap now just over 1.2 seconds. And here we are, Nino again. Up the inside there, down towards turn number 1. And again this time, not holding it too hard. He should get the DRS with Tom Lowe. Down into turn number 2. Indeed, he will get the DRS then into turn 4. Can he use it though? The answer to that looks like it might not be. He gives him a slight bump. And then he won't be able to go back the inside into turn 5, 6 and 7. That will be most certainly all might of an accident if he tried it at that late. And just look here. Gap now just coming to under a second. There we are. Under a second now then for Shabby. And this really isn't looking too shabby for him either. There's opportunity, there's taste. Can he smell blood in the air? As Leeds to continue to battle. Behind them as well, Mika's starting to pull that gap ever so slightly now. To man who is starting to come under more and more pressure from the likes of Harold. And there is Sherem off the road again there in the Ferrari. Who is absolutely not having a day to remember, both the Ferraris. Most certainly not. Meanwhile, further down the field, by the way, we've got that looks like a ghost car of Warren, I believe, actually. So it is a ghost car. As indeed, these two continue to battle. Angel, a 3-second time penalty. Again, here comes Tom. Is he going to look again into turn number 1? No, he's not. But look who's right on the back of them now. As behind them as well, we've got Ben up the inside passing Matt, who's been overtaken as well by Wazzy as well. So Matt dropping 1-2 possessions. He might drop another one here. As up the inside comes Trap Formula down the inside as well. As you can see, the Aston Martin might have a look up the inside, but wishful thinking, the differential difference between those two tyres, a 9-lap difference, definitely proving to be the demanding factor. But look at this now, the top 3. Nino just holds this lead from Tom, who now is just got behind him. Shabby, now this might potentially, depending on how these guys battle, might just help Nino. Because if Shabby wants this win, he's going to have to pass the pair of them, obviously. But the question is, if he can get past, how quickly can he get past? Because we have only got like 27, 28 and 29. We've only got just, what, 3 and a bit laps to go. And now it's now or never. Is Tom gonna play second fiddle? Is he just gonna try it now? Or is he just gonna save up his ERS for the last lap lunges down towards and just try and finish it? Because now look behind and just wonder in awe. If these guys battle, we could see Shabby, we could even see Mika still lead this race as they swept one way to the other there. Weaving to the in, weaving to the right. But still, no way through just yet. They just have to sit, they just have to wait and find the opportune time. As these top four really starting to close up now, all in each other. Mika getting himself into this action as well. So we're now having a four-way train for the lead of this race. Nino just continues to hold his job. 28 lap coming up then. And you could almost cut the tension here with a cricket stump. This is getting close. Who is it going to be to try to make a lunge? Who's it going to be for the last gasp attempt? Right now, it looks like Shabby's close to that on Tom. That Tom is on Nino. But again, a slight twitch on the rear, and you can see, especially with their rear S's, that Shabby has more rear S. And here we are then. A slight twitch. It's going to be 3 wide down towards turn 1. There, the middle line then. And the inside. And let's see, has he got the lead then? I think Shabby might have the lead. Tom's going to fight it. He is going to fight it. He retains the lead there. Nino drops 2 places in the space of 1. And now Shabby, is he going to go around the outside then? Late braking. Can he swoop it round the outside? He's going to get almost certainly hung out to dry. Yes, he is, but still there. Still can't quite do it on the exit look. Now he has to have a look. Can he do a lunge anywhere here? No, he can't. He's just going to have to sit behind. Again, he'll have another DRS zone then coming up. And this is exactly what Shabby wants to do. Pick up the pieces when he needs to. He saw an opportunity, and the fighting instinct, he went for it. Nino as well, just sitting. Just ever so slightly further behind. Now the gap needs to be about under 4/3 of a second. If he wants to get an opportunity down in towards turn number 1, it'll be an almighty lunge right now if the gap stayed as it is. Let's see then. Again, Tom just covering the inside line. Just can he do it though? Let's see. 4/10 of a second. He might have an opportunity. The gap hovering about that 5/10. Tom just covering the inside all the way down the straight. Let's see, DRS wide open. Here we are on the last lap. He's closing. He's going to go around the outside shortly. Can he outbrake himself? Can he do it? Tom defends the inside line. They're going to be side by side. They touch. They do touch down towards the corner. And again, here we are then. Good defending, good driving. And now on the inside, here comes Nino again then. To the inside on the last lap. Can he swoop it through then and get that line? Yes, he just about can. They touch. Again on the exit of the corner. And Shabby getting forced backwards. Another twitch on the front. And I don't think he's going to be too happy about that one. Was he given enough space? We'll find out presumably later on. But surely that's given Tom a slight buffer. Now to potentially win this race. He's got, what, just over half a lap to go. Nino in second. Shabby now demoted back to third. He had one look at the lead of this race. He tried it. It didn't pay off. And now he's been forced back down. Mika in fourth as well. He's done a stonking drive throughout this race to keep it where he's been. But through the last corner then. And Tom is defended beautifully. From pretty much, he took the lead, he very much stayed there from start to finish. And Tom wins the opening round and he wins in Bahrain. Nino in second, Shabby in third at the end, Mika in fourth, Ben from Wazzy. And then we got all sorts of carnage going on down the last corner. Looks like one of the Hasses lost their front nose there, down towards the last corner. Indeed that was, it was Harold lost the car. Wazzy in sixth, Fonda in seventh, Tibbles ahead of Harry, Harold, Sherem down in 11th, Kelvin 12th, Sybig in 13th, Angel 14th, And Stoz down in 15th. 3 retirements from this race. But Tom driving perfectly there. He had an opportunity. Shabby driver of the day, and I often can't argue with that one. Certainly drove his heart out throughout that race. But Tom's up at the podium. It is Tom. First win of the season. And Trap Formula got a puncture then. That's what happened between Herald and Trap Formula. A puncture on the last lap. Obviously they've crashed into it, so presumably that must have been the last corner then. So that explains that one. But there can be giant tribulations for your race winner, Shabby. The Dutchman also is going to be frustrated there. Down in 3rd position. I've got to say, driver of the day, without shadow of doubt, has to go to him. 20th to 3rd position. An absolutely stellar job. Other real big winners in this race, you must got to say. Likes of Ben up 10 position. Was he up a few? Trap Formula up quite a lot of positions as well. Real loser of this race. You got the likes, of course, of Angel 3rd down all the way to 14th position. Rowan also having a torrid race, and of course your Ford DNS, Jakes, Tamu, Pop and Ollie all out of this race as well. And of course, must say, it is difficult to do solo comms. Of course, hopefully next week, I should hopefully have a co-com with me. So I do apologise if I did seem to struggle a little bit today. And that was, of course, I'm not used to co-com, well, solo comming on my own. And of course, on that bombshell, I have been evil. Of course, we will see you in just 7 days' time where we head to the next race. But until then, take care everyone, and goodbye.